Перш за все, хочу подякувати усім, хто залишився до цієї панелі, тому що багато людей не мають стільки терпіння. Тем более сказали, что будет кофе-брейк, и я понимаю, что это тоже сыграло свою роль. Обычно панель по инфраструктуре не самая насыщенная для людей, которые связаны с рынком. Она такая, больше как бэк-энд. Нету каких-то новостей. Но я хочу поблагодарить организаторов за то, что дали возможность провести эту панель, потому что в этом году она как раз-таки насыщена очень интересными новостями. Кое-что уже произошло, кое-что происходит прямо вот в эти минуты, и некоторые новости, они о нашем ближайшем будущем. Но это будет интересно, и обо всем по порядку. Прежде я хочу договориться, что, наверное, мы тоже, как и раньше, соблюдем вариант, когда сначала дадим возможность спикерам выступить, а потом будут вопросы из зала. Еще будет одно маленькое голосование, но мы его, наверное, тоже проведем после того, как все наши спикеры расскажут о новостях. Самой, пожалуй, главной, ожидаемой, долго ожидаемой новостью на рынке, которой уже тоже много говорили сегодня на предыдущих панелях, точнее говорили о результатах ее, это как раз линк между депозитарием Clearstream и депозитарием Национального банка. Это действительно знаковое событие, которое, мне кажется, сложно переоценить, потому что вот обычно бывает как? Появляется какой-то инструмент бизнес-идеи, под него подстраивается инфраструктура. Тут получилось наоборот, что госдолг украинский внутренний давно всем интересен, нерезидентам, но из-за сложности его приобретения был ограниченный спрос. И вот благодаря тому, что этот линк сейчас появился, мы видим, что спрос значительно вырос и даже поменялась структура вкладчиков в внутренний украинский госдолг. И поэтому я сейчас хочу дать слово Сержу Кристу, чтобы он рассказал о том, как это все происходило. И, возможно, Серж хотел такой как бы вводный вопрос задать. Когда вы начинали проект, вы наверняка оценивали количество транзакций и объем торгов украинскими бумагами. Хотел узнать, оправдались ли ваши ожидания. Возможно, даже цифры превзошли эти ожидания. Серж, вам слово.
First, many thanks for inviting us to this forum. I'm very pleased to represent my company. So that is Clearstream. I think that's the name has been said like 15 times. So it's I can see that it's very important for the Ukrainian market. As a piece of background before I come to your question with regard of the volumes, etc., etc. Again, I'm part of Clearstream Banking, which is part of the Deutsche Börse Group, which also having Xetra and Eurex, which are the trading and the CCP platform. We are an international institution based in Luxembourg, AA rated. We have 2,500 customers, widespread around the world. We do any type of securities. We have 59 markets, meaning 58 domestic plus one, which is the Eurobonds that we also discussed at length here. And we are providing all sorts of asset servicing and collateral services for our customers. In short, you can see us with 13 trillion of assets. You can see us as a pool of liquidity. With regard of the assessment of how many trades and what would be the volumes, it's always difficult to derive what could be the success of a link based on the local figures. To be honest, we were really in a range, and we discussed that with Andriy and with our local partner that I will thank later on, which are City, Kyiv. It was difficult to assess, but I would say that in terms of cross-border trades, we are at what we were expecting. I don't think that it's worth the cost to disclose. What is worth to disclose is how we get there and why we get there as an infrastructure, because someone this morning from Deutsche Börse say Clearstream is fine, but it's just an infrastructure, and I take it as a compliment. Yes, we are just here as an infrastructure and to be able to link some new market to our pool of liquidity. What we've seen since the last global crisis is that there is an increasing supply of bonds from emerging markets. There is an increasing demand of investor and foreign investor to access these bonds, and a company like us, it was not possible to go outside of this framework. So what we did a survey to our customers, and maybe we can go to some of the slides. But basically, they were saying for emerging market, we like very much the product. We certainly like very much the country, but our credit compliance and legal department, they like it very much less. So what can we do, and how can you help us to access these countries, knowing that we want to safekeep these bonds within your platform. We want to be able to receive income in the local currency. We want also to be able to trade with our neighbor next door, with whom we know them for sure. We want to have a single local window access with a ring fence of this AA rated Luxembourg-based infrastructure. So basically, what the investors are looking for is for an emerging market with a flavor of internationalization, right? And that allows them to decrease the burden of what I've just said about the counterparty risk, the credit risk, the compliance, the AML, the KYC, etc., etc. So based on that assessment, we said, okay, how have we accessed all our 58 market, or at the time it was 54 markets up to now? And basically, what we were always doing is that we were opening full access to the whole range of the assets from that country. We were providing some full STP and DVP and FOP. However, the counterbalance of all this is that it requires a lot of effort, a lot of resources, a lot of investment. The time to market is or was from 4 to 5 years, while within the current world in which we are living, everybody understands that the time to market should be shortened. So on this basis, we said, for this new frontier emerging market, should we really need to have the performance of a Ferrari? Really, do we have really to spend all that money, to have all the maintenance costs behind, to spend X number of years to get our break-even back, etc., etc. So we went to the conclusion that, okay, we are going to start somewhere with a very simplified scheme, which is going to be around the govies only, denominated in the local currency, is going to be only free of payment, is going to be simplified in terms of IT implementation, and we are going to reduce the time to market and the resources we are going to do that. Because the investors are waiting, so we cannot just live like this and wait and wait and wait. We don't want to create too much expectation. We want to deliver, right? 5 years, it's too much. It's too much of expectation. So it is on that basis that we build a strategy for emerging and frontier market, which is called Agile, which means accelerated and gradual implementation of Link. Okay, that is the basis. With that, however, of course, you cannot access a country, or you cannot do that on your own. You need the local partner to support the scheme that you are proposing to them. So, of course, we need some pillars that allow us to go and build a link with a said domestic market. Again, we are a AA rated company. We are risk adverse. We certainly don't want to lose that. I always say that what is looking for my management, is to have safe and quiet night, right? They don't want to live on risk, because again, it's not our job. It's the job of the bankers or the traders. We are just there again to build some roads to give a better access to the foreign investors. I'll try to make it short, right? So of course we have some prerequisites that we are asking our local partner to work on it. It's the recognition of a nominee concept under an omnibus account structure. It is also the free transferability of the asset onto our platform. Many thanks. And of course, we, all the investors and us, are also asking for a tax regime which is simplified. We are asking also the FX regime to be simplified or accessible. And lastly, we are building that with local partner. So, for example, for the example of Ukraine, we rely on the NBU and on the CSD of the NBU. We also rely, and would like to thank as well, local partner Citibank Kyiv, to a certain extent as well to Raiffeisen Bank Aval, because it just proven to ourselves for its strengths. The assessment that we had at the very beginning is that Ukraine has enough potential and enough pillars that allows us to go quite safely into the market. And that is what we have done. That is what you can see. Again, I'm not going to expand too much on the benefit that it brings to the market. I understand that it was a kick for the markets and for Ukraine to rethink or think further about what can be. I heard a lot of things about the secondary market here, the local infrastructure. I hear also, and I receive some question about how we are going to develop our link. We certainly want to develop our link. We are thinking about a DVP possibility. We are thinking about, of course, opening to some corporate bonds, local corporate bonds. But that is now also the work of Ukraine to be able to build this second phase, I would say, of the capital market of its own country.